Hello, my sewing friends. This is Friday Sews. I'm Jen, and this is my sewing room, and thanks for joining me for another edition of Friday Sews, where me and a whole slew of people in the sewing community talk about the sewing we've been doing, the sewing we plan on doing, and just some life thrown in there at the end. I didn't get a lot of sewing done this past week. I did work on Butterick 6485, which is a 1944 reprint, reissue. And the upshot is it's just too big. I got it done and I thought this thing doesn't fit, and it's because it's too big. I did try it on along the way and I thought it would be fine, but part of the problem is that it calls for shoulder pads, which, you know, nobody uses shoulder pads anymore. I did my time with shoulder pads back in the 1980s, and that's fine that it calls for those, but I don't know. I think the shoulders are cut a little bit wide for that reason. Well, you know, in the end, it just doesn't fit. And I think it's because I made a size too big, and I was following the measurements on the pattern, but, you know, I'm not even sure it can be saved because it's just too big. Probably it can. So I don't know. I just was tired of thinking about it and dealing with it. So it's a pretty dress. It's just a little cotton broadcloth. So in essence, it could be just a wearable muslin or a non-wearable muslin, as the case may be. But I was totally fine with it. I didn't overstress, and I just put it aside for now. I made some masks, not the kind you'd think. I have very dry eyes, and my eye doctor told me that I should wear a mask at night because we have a ceiling fan that we like to keep going at night just to keep the air moving, and because I tend to get hot when I sleep. And so eye doctor said you should cover your eyes with a mask. So I don't like the kind that are dark because I need the sun to wake me up in the morning. So if I'm wearing a mask, it kind of blocks that light. So for a little while I was wearing, you know, like swim goggles. Probably not the best idea. So Dollar Tree has lots of sleep masks. You can find them for so cheap everywhere. And I got this one there. It's just kind of a polyester satin on one side, and I don't even know what this is. Some kind of a knit on the other side, but it's zebra, but it's black, and I didn't like that. So I used this as a pattern, and I made a terry cloth one, which I thought would work with just some sanded satin on the back, which is very soft, and it is lighter, but it's not perfect. This is fold over elastic. It was just something, you know, that was soft, and I thought that'll work. You know, you pull whatever out of your stash. It's like you're gonna wear it at night. Nobody's gonna see it. So I had been wearing this one, and then I saw where my daughter Emma, who also has very dry eyes, ordered some masks that had flax seeds in them. And I checked that out, and it said if you warm it up, it does help with eye moisture. So I decided, well, I would make one. Seems like I saw one that had fleece. So I knew I had some like Sherpa fleece. So I, again, used that as a pattern. I made my own bias tape with my new bias tape maker. I did a little gathered elastic strap on the back, and I put flaxseed inside. So it's kind of, you can kind of see, I don't know if you can hear it. Yeah, so that's an interesting idea, and it's heavy, and it just weighs down on the front of my face. And I have I have all kinds of problems. I have sinus issues. It's just a genetic thing. My mom has it too. But, you know, I don't know. I'm undecided. It's pretty. And it does keep all the light out. I guess that's the issue. It's heavy and it keeps the light out. So I'm still working on the design, but I don't know. I'll come up with something. So I did that. And yeah, the only other thing I did was work on the pattern for my itch to stitch jeans. I haven't cut that out yet, but I did make a lot of changes, and I went to a lot of trouble to measure those and check the basic fit as compared to my Levi's jeans that I love. I want those to be as close to those jeans as I can. I want the itch to stitch pattern to mimic those as much as I can. And so, you know, with pants, anytime you're dealing with pants, you deal with that crotch curve. And I thought, why is it that Levi's fit me so well? And so I looked at that design. I looked at that, the way that that crotch curve is made, and it actually really helped me. I did watch part of a tutorial on Craftsy by Kenneth King on making jeans, and that was incredibly helpful. He is an incredible teacher. I was so impressed, and I'm so glad I have this Craftsy membership that I got for nothing. I mean, I think it was $2.49, and then I added on the gold membership, and so it ended up being about $12 in the end. And I thought for a year I can do that. It was so nice to have that resource right there. So I worked on that. I'm about ready to cut those out and start putting them together. So I'm considering them a wearable muslin, because if they don't work, then I'm going to be disappointed, and then I'm going to have to get more fabric and make them again. But I'm pretty hopeful that they'll work. The thing that I noticed was the muslin I did make previously was too big, and so I went down in size. And I think sometimes you have to do that, because I noticed that that pattern has negative ease in it, kind of like a t-shirt would have, or a close bodycon fitting dress, or top or something like that. I was really surprised at that. But at the same time, I looked at the hip measurement, and I kind of went from there, and I thought, I can't believe that this is the size I need to make, but they're elastic. They're going to stretch. It's stretch denim too, so we'll see how that turns out. I'll keep you posted, especially since I'm doing a collab with Stephanie at Stephanie Farrell Focus, and we're both going to talk about the pattern and our experiences with it. So that's coming up. That's all the sewing. I did do my Frugal Frocks video. That is a challenge that's going on Instagram. I'm not going to go into all of the details about it, because people have done that endlessly. All you have to do is click on the playlist. I'll link that in the description box. But yeah, that's going to be fun. We'll probably, we will seriously probably shut down Instagram with the influx of uploads on March the 31st. I don't know. I'll be surprised if nothing happens, to be honest, because so many people are participating. It's just where you make a free dress using, a free pattern and stuff from your stash. So it should be interesting. I'm getting ready to work on that now that I've done my video. I can get going. Painting is underway. Yay! I had painted a wall, an entire wall. Nearly killed me the next day. I thought, all right, Jen, you've got to remember, work for an hour, take a break. Work for an hour, take a break. But I painted this entire wall, and it's the wrong color. It's too light. And so I went back to the drawing board and decided on a color. And so that is underway, and I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. So yeah, that's coming together. I'm really glad about that. I do need to make a trip to IKEA. I decided about 6 weeks ago that I want to copy something I saw on Pinterest, and it had to do with bookshelves and doors, glass doors that were originally made for kitchen cabinets, that you put on the front of a Billy bookcase from IKEA. And so the people that did this in the blog post did it, and they were in Europe. And those cabinet doors, you can't get them here, but you can get an actual cabinet that looks the same. So I want to make a trip to IKEA, and I'm going to do that in a couple of weeks with my good friend Lisa, who has a book channel, Books and Smiles. And then I want to get some of that temporary-ish wood flooring. It's like wood tiles that you can just put down for my back lanai, because I used that as a workshop to make my coffee table, and that cement looks terrible. So I really need to do something with it. So I thought, oh yeah, that would be a good idea. So I'm going to check that out. Trip to IKEA coming up. The only other thing I want to tell you about is kind of exciting. I am doing a trip up to see my folks in Ohio. It was supposed to be our Christmas, rescheduled Christmas, and now we're having all kinds of drama with that. But all of the girls except one are going to be there. No, except two are going to be there. But on the way back, I'm going to drive back with my youngest, and that'll be fun because I'll get to spend time with her. I'm going to drop her off where she lives in North Carolina, and then I'm going to head over to Raleigh, technically Durham, North Carolina. The airport is called Raleigh-Durham. But I'm going to head over there, and I'm going to go to the Scrap Exchange in Durham. This is a place that's like a thrift store for crafters, and I am so excited that I get to go. I'm sure I'm going to find all kinds of things because they've got all kinds of stuff. I get to spend an entire day going there. I am so excited. So that's going to be really fun. That's at the end of April. That's it. That's it for Friday Sews for me this week. Don't forget to check out all of the Friday Sewers. I spend a lot of time watching Friday Sews. So if you would like to see last week's Friday Sews, check this out. And that's it for now for me. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.